This is Carl Eller, and you're watching the One Bar and Lepagas show.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm One Bar with Lupagus, and we're going to be talking some Viking Pro Bowl snubs. It might be a little late to the game on this one, but damn it, there's some big snubs here, and we need to talk about it.
We also need to talk about when we started calling this the show.
It is the show, and also just a disclaimer before we get into this. Nobody gives a shit about the Pro Bowl. I don't give a shit about the Pro Bowl, but damn it, I want these players to get their accolades, even if they don't even go to it. I want to go on Wikipedia and see 10-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, because these guys are all deserving, especially their performances this year. And here's the thing, too, you got to factor in. Half the guys who are named the Pro Bowl don't even show up. So there's a good chance a couple of these guys may actually end up being Pro Bowlers. So you may get your wish after all.
Well, they're going to decline as well because they're too good for it. I just want that accolade. That's all we want. That's all we want.
What would you do if you didn't get voted in and someone bowed out and they called you? Would you say, yes, I'll join. I'll come to the Pro Bowl, or would you say, fuck you guys?
How old am I in this scenario?
You're like 29.
29. Am I married?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going.
Not happily though.
Yeah, I'm still not going. Uninterested.
Okay. All right.
If I'm like a rookie, if you're a younger guy, all about it. All about it. These older vets, a lot who we'll be talking about are just that in that scenario. But let's do this. Let's talk about who's your first one.
Why did you have to be married?
Well, if I'm not married, it'd be more fun.
Okay.
If you're not catching that, then shame on you.
Well, I'm just curious. Let's start with the guy who you could probably argue this one both ways, but I definitely think just for the brief appearances he's done and the impact he's had in this role, Kenny Nwangu as the return man definitely has been worthy. 2 return touchdowns, and really his average is still very high for taking him to the house when he does have a return.
Well, the only reason he didn't make it is because he's only played in 8 games. You already said it, but he's got 2 touchdowns. He's leading the league in touchdown returns, kick returns. So that right there, maybe should have got a little bit of a pass. I mean, his average is like 37 yards a return. It's just he hasn't had many returns. He's got 12 returns. That's it.
But he's already impacting what teams do when they kick off. So I mean, that's a huge thing as well. Kicking away from him, kicking them weird, kicking them different, so he can't return them. So he's having an impact even when he doesn't make returns, and that to me is he's definitely worthy. But of all the guys on this list, I could see him being passed over for the most reasons.
And he was. Kenny, next year is your year.
But he is young. He fits your mold, man. He'd be out there he'd be Matamediaing the Pro Bowl.
He'd be slinging them. Who's next?
Let's go with linebacker Eric Kendricks. He's having an insane year. This guy's stats are mind-boggling. 127 total tackles, 8 tackles for a loss. He's got 5 sacks, hit the quarterback 4 times, recovered a fumble.
2 interceptions too, doesn't he?
2 interceptions, broken up 4 passes. This guy's on a tear. His stats are even better than I thought. When I went and looked, I was like, holy crap. Eric Kendricks having a marvelous year, but again, gets passed over.
It's tough. Middle linebacker is very tough in the NFC every damn year. When they got Bobby Wagner year in and year out, 1 spot's already gone. They only take 2 middle linebackers. And unfortunately for Kendricks, Micah Parsons has just exploded over the NFL and got the other one. So it sucks because you look at it, Bobby Wagner has like 160 tackles. He's a tackling machine, but Kendricks has more sacks. He has more interceptions. So just whatever you look at it, it's just Kendricks continues to get the shaft, and he will. There's always been good NFC linebackers since he's been in the league.
Yeah, I was surprised Micah Parsons got voted in as a middle linebacker. I mean, he could have been outside, or even an end. That guy plays all over the defense, so he could have gone pretty much anywhere and made the Pro Bowl. So it's too bad Eric Kendrick's spot had to be usurped because of Parsons, but Parsons is a beast.
Usurp. Yes, it blows, but is what it is. He's gone.
He is gone. Let's take another one off the list, and let's talk about the quiet assassin, the guy who always gets looked over because he's just so good, quietly good. Our right tackle, Brian O'Neill.
Yeah, take her away.
I mean, Brian O'Neill. I mean, he's this constant, just consistent presence on the Minnesota Vikings defensive line. You rarely ever hear his name called for a penalty. You don't see much pressure come his way. He locks his guy down. He erases his man. He is Arnold Schwarzenegger from that movie with Vanessa Williams in the early 90s. He is the eraser. takes away his guy. And again, you don't hear much about it because he just does his job, and he's become a leader on this team. The young guys on this O-line look up to him, and Brian O'Neill's really taken that role, and he's really only been in the league for 3 years, so or 4 years. This is his 4th season. But Brian O'Neill, he is everything the Pro Bowl wants these players to be, and he should be in this game.
The only thing I took away from that is the movie Eraser. I've never seen that. I can picture the cover of it.
I don't know if I've seen it either.
I will never watch it, but I'm glad you brought that up.
I think you might.
This is another one where it just comes down to numbers. I mean, Brian O'Neill, he's got 4 penalties all year, has given up 0 sacks, but look at the guy, Trent Williams, Tristan Wirfs, Tyron Smith. Brian O'Neill is definitely in the category of these guys. They just got the name. Brian O'Neill is just too damn quiet.
Yep.
Maybe he needs to get in a fight with somebody out on the field.
Who should he fight?
Throw a helmet, do something. I don't know. But Brian O'Neill, he's got the Eric Kendrick syndrome. Well-deserving. Just doesn't have the name recognition.
Yeah, he doesn't. And you know what? Especially with a young stud like Tristan Wirfs there, he may always be on the back burner. But you know what? We love our Brian O'Neill, and we appreciate him here at the One Bar and Lupagus show.
I'm sure he appreciates that, knowing that. Hello, Brian. Thank you for watching, sir.
I think he does. And the last one, our quarterback, Kirk Cousins. I mean, I don't know how you cannot say this guy's season so far has not been Pro Bowl worthy.
Yeah, this is out of all these, I think this is the biggest snub. He's on pace to have his best season in the NFL, and as a Viking. He's got 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. 6 interceptions. And when you look at the guys who made it above him, yes, Rodgers, yes, Brady. Kyler Murray, I don't agree with that one. Kyler Murray, I'm like, all right, well, Kyler Murray must have an ass load of rushing yards. He's got 270 rushing yards. I shit 270 rushing yards.
I don't know what that means, but yeah, and I think league-wide, Kirk Cousins is still seen as a guy who can't lead his team to the playoffs, can't lead his team to a title, can't win games. He's still, he's just league-wide seen as a game manager, and he's really shaken a lot of those stigmas this year. He's driven the team back many times, whether it's to tie the game, get the winning touchdown. He did it in overtime against Carolina. He drove down twice against the Bengals. The Vikings couldn't cash it in. Drove down against the Cardinals to win the game. We missed the kick. This guy routinely brings this team back. And yes, his last 2 games have kind of been ass, but Kirk Cousins is having a great season. And without him, the Vikings are probably a 3-win team this year.
Yeah, Cousins, just NFC, 4th in touchdowns, 3rd in yards, and interceptions. He is at the very damn near bottom as far as how many. And Kyler Murray, as strictly a quarterback, 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Cousins should have got that spot. Chaps my ass.
Yeah. So Murray, I mean, again, he's Kyler Murray. He's a young quarterback. He's a couple years in. He's playing for the Cardinals. They're a sexy team. They got a young coach. I mean, everybody loves Kyler Murray. He's getting in on his name.
Those are our 4 snubs. That's really it. I will say this. I will say before we wrap this hog up, Greg Joseph, his stats, I was just looking. What's his nuts got in? Who's the kicker? Matt Gay.
Yeah.
His stats are unbelievable. Like, he's missed 1 field goal. He's missed 1 extra point. But when you look at the kickers, Greg Joseph, as much as we like to bitch about him, he is second. He's got the most 50-yard field goals, second in field goal percentage, and right up there with extra point percentage.
Who has the most kicks that have lost his team games?
Probably not Greg Joseph.
We'll see.
If you got a hard stat on that, I'll agree. But if you're just pulling something on your ass, I don't even want to hear
I'm curious. I bet you he's right up there. And that's my problem with Greg Joseph. He had a chance to win me over. I'm still scared of him. Still scared, still not safe, still not feeling good about him. But I'm glad you brought it up. Greg Joseph, he is the 6th man on this list, or the 5th man. All
right, no, he's not a snub. Matt Gay should have got it. I'm just saying it was close.
Absolutely. We could, Matt Gay, Vikings face him this weekend, and he'll probably hit about 8 field goals, 3 of them from 62 yards out.
Maybe
not. But maybe this is true. And you know what? This is definitely true. Between 1900 and 1920, tug of war was an Olympic event.